Okay, this is the cat musculature, starting with the superficial thoracic musculature. There is the pecto antebrachialis, which is located right up here by the shoulder. Is it? Right here, yep, right here. Goes up to the by the shoulder. And the origin is the manubrium. Insertion is the forearm, and the function is that it adducts the arm. Next is the pectoralis major, which is located right above the pecto antebrachialis. Origin is the sternum, the insertion is the humerus, and the function is also to help adduct the arms. Next is the pectoralis minor. That is located right down. Minor, right here. The origin is also the sternum. The insertion is at the humerus, and the function is adducts and retracts the arm. And finally, the xipha humoralis is located down here. Right down here. And the origin is the xiphoid process. The function is the humerus. The insertion is the humerus, and the function is to adduct and retracts the muscles. Moving on to the abdominal or hypaxial musculature, the external oblique is located down by the legs. It's underneath this, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Located down here. Actually, we cut that out, didn't we?
The origin is the infraspinatus.
Should probably look at that, but yeah. The external obliques. The origin is the lumbodorsal fascia and posterior ribs. The insertion at the linea alba, and the function is that it compresses the abdomen. Next is the external oblique, which is located right above the internal oblique. Wait, no, the internal oblique is located below the external oblique, which would be right over here. The origin is the lumbodorsal fascia and the pelvic girdle. The function is the linea alba, and the function is it compresses the abdomen. Next is the internal intercostal, which is located somewhere.
Next is the sphenodeltoid, which is
we're looking for.
so it's this right here.
I think that's just a
spinous scapula.
Yeah. It is in a deeper layer.
Musculature.
Let's see, the origin is at the rib, and the insertion is also at the rib, and the function is that it draws the rib caudad, so it's below this muscle, connected to the rib. The external intercostal is above.
And the insertion is the ovilecron process.
Yeah, it's also below there, and it also connects to the rib. It originates at the rib. It starts at the rib, and the function is also to draw the rib cranial. And then next is the rectus abdominis. That is right down the middle. Here. The origin is the pubis, the insertion is the sternum, and the function is that it compresses the abdomen. Moving on to the deep thoracic musculature, we have the serratus ventralis, which is located also under here, right by the abdominis, rectus abdominis. Its origin is the cervical vertebrae and the ribs. The insertion is the scapula, and it supports the function is to support the scapula. The next is the scalenes, which is right up here. Yeah, right here. The origin is the ribs, the insertion is the rib, is the cervical vertebrae, and the function is that it helps bend the neck and protect the ribs. Next is the intercostalis externus, which
right here.
is that on this? No, I don't see it.
Origin is the ilium, and then
Um,
second is the patella. Next is the gracialis.
What number are we looking for? Number 12?
12.
That can be seen right
Can't find
here.
that one up there. Oh, that's the same as the. You don't have to do those again.
Oh, okay.
They're the same as the other one.
Okay. Oh,
Okay.
right. I already said that one.
Origin is
Yeah.
the pelvic symphysis,
Alright.
and then insertion is the
So yeah, it's under the rib. It's under.
This is the thigh.
Moving on to the superficial back ectaxial musculature. So we'll flip the cat over.
Or here. The origin is the ischium, and the insertion
So
is the
starting off
tibia.
with the clavotrapezius,
Cladohumerus
which
right here.
is located right.
The origin is
The musculature goes from the back, which is located right here.
the patella.
Yeah, right here. That's the muscle. And the origin is the occipital skull mid-dorsal raphe. The insertion is the clavicle, and the function is that it protects the humerus. Next is the acromion-trapezius, which is right behind the muscle, and it's located right here. And the origin is the axis, the spinous process of cervical and thoracic vertebrae 1 to 4. The insertion is the metachromion process of scapula, and the function is that it adducts and stabilizes the scapula. Next is the spinotrapezius, which is located even farther behind. Wow. Yeah, the scapula right there. Located right back here below the fat.
The origin is
Um,
and the insertion.
Yeah, right back here. And the origin is the spinous process of thoracic vertebrae. The insertion is the fascia of scapula, and the function is that it retracts and elevates the scapula. Finally, the latissimus dorsi is located down here by the. It would be this one.
And right here.
Behind the leg, and the origin is the spinous process of last thoracic and lumbar vertebrae. The insertion is the humerus, and the function is the retraction that elevates the humerus. Moving on to the neck musculature. The sternomastoid
The origin is the pubis.
is located
Next is the tensor fascia.
right about here. The origin is the menumbrium, the insertion is the occipital, and the function is that it rotates and depresses the head. Next is the clidomastoid, which flip the cat over. Clidomastoid
The next one
is located
the
right down the side. The origin is the temporal bone, the insertion is the clavicle, and the function is it protects the clavicle and rotates the head. Next is the sternohyoid, which is located right in here in the neck. It's right here. The origin is the first costal cartilage. The insertion is the hyoid, and the function is that it retracts the hyoid. Next is the sternothyroid, which is right next to it on each side of it, and right around here. And the origin is the first costal cartilage. The insertion is the thyroid cartilage of larynx, and the function is that it retracts the larynx. Next is the thyrohyoid, which it's right up here. Thyrohyoid, right up here, farther on the outside. and the origin is the thyroid cartilage of the larynx. The insertion is the hyoid, and the function is that it protracts the larynx. Next is the mylohyoid, which is right up below the jaw, right up here. Maybe a little bit under. And the origin is the mandible. The insertion is the median raphe, and the function is that it elevates the floor of the mouth. Finally, the geniohyoid is located right below the mylohyoid on each side, and its origin is the mandible. The insertion is the hyoid, and the function is that it retracts the hyoid. Moving on to the deep neck and back musculature. I gotta flip the cat over one more time. First is the rhomboideus capitis, which is located, over a little bit more, located right down the middle of the back between the shoulder blades, so it would be right here. And the origin is the occipital. The insertion is the scapula, and the function is that it protracts and rotates the scapula. Next is the rhomboideus. The origin is the rhomboideus is located right between the rhomboideo capitis, right down the middle, and the origin is the thoracic vertebrae. The insertion is the scapula, and the function is that it elevates the scapula. Finally, the splenius is located up by the top, up near the top of the neck, where the neck meets the head. The origin is the mid-dorsal fascia. The insertion is the occipital, and the function is to elevate and flex or extend the neck. Moving on to the head musculature, the masseter is located by the cheek, right there, and the origin is the zygomatic arch. The insertion is the mandible, and the function is that it elevates the lower jaw. Next, the temporalis is located on the top of the head, right here. The origin is the zygomatic arch. The insertion is the mandible, and the function is to elevate the lower jaw. Finally, the digastric, which is located located on the bottom next, so I gotta flip the cat over one more time. And it is located, right here. The origin is the occipital, the insertion is the mandible, and the function is that it depresses the lower jaw. Moving on to shoulder musculature. The supraspinatus is located right here. The origin is the supraspinatus fossa. The insertion is the humerus, and the function is to protract the humerus. Next is the infraspinatus, which is located right here. Right here. Yeah, right there. Okay. The origin of the infraspinatus is at the infraspinatus fossa. The insertion is the humerus, and the function is to rotate the humerus. Next, the teres major is located right here. The origin is the scapula, the insertion is the humerus, and the function is to flex and rotate the humerus. Next, the levator scapulae ventralis is located right up here. Yeah, right up here. The origin is. Wait, this is the teres major, right? Oh no, this is the levator scapulae ventralis. The origin is the atlas and the occipital of the skull. The insertion is the scapula, and the function is it retracts the scapula. Next, the acromoid deltoid is located right here. The origin is the acromonian process of scapula. The insertion is the sphenoid deltoid muscle, and the function is to flex and rotate the humerus. The spinodeltoid is located right back here. The origin is the spine of scapula, the insertion is the humerus, and the function is to flex and rotate the humerus. The subscapularis is located on the back legs. It's okay on the front legs.
Should still be in the shoulder musculature, but I can't
Yeah.
find it.
I know I found it.
Oh,
There it is. So it's located on the other side of the cat. It is located right down here. Yeah, it'd be right up here. The origin is the subscapular fossa, the insertion is the humerus, and the function is the adductor humerus. Moving on to the forelimb brachium and anterobrachium musculature, the epirobronchiolaris is located
its origin is the xiphoid complex, which is the humerus. The next section is the abdominal
Yes.
hypoglossal musculature.
here.
And the first muscle
Still on the
is the external
leg. On the other side of the leg, it is located
and its
right
origin
here.
is the lumboid
Wait, no, it'd be
the next
yeah.
muscle is the internal
right there. The origin is the latissimus dorsi. The insertion is the olecranon process of ulna, and the function is that it extends the forearm. The biceps brachii are located. Yeah, I see what it is. The biceps brachii are located right here. Okay, they're located right below the musculature. Located right here. The origin is the scapula, the insertion is the radius, and the function is that it flexes the forearm. The triceps brachii are located.
Where's the medial?
It's like 3 parts.
Let's see, are located.
its origin is the rib and the insertion is the rib. The next one is
So are 3 parts. The long head is located.
it's underneath in there, and its origin is the
Over.
and insertion is the sternum.
It is located.
So the next section is the deep thoracic musculature. The first muscle
is
is the
musculature, isn't it?
serratus.
But yeah, they're located farthest back. The medial is located. Is the medial in between them? Well, anyways, the lateral is above the long, and
Its origin is the cervical.
the medial.
The next muscle is the scalene.
Where's the? I think we already saw the medial.
Yeah,
Did you already
okay.
say that? Okay, the medial is here.
Okay, the medial is on the other side of the leg, which would be right up here.
Origin is the ribs and insertion
Yeah.
is the cervical.
Moving on, the
The next section is
all
the superficial back.
the brachialis, which are located.
Certainly is a lot of pages here to go through. Alright, what is it, the forelimb? It's 44.
Yes, I passed it already.
This is the hind limb, so
I think you passed it already.
yeah.
Should just be on the.
And the first muscle in this section is the clavicular.
There it is.
Easiness,
Right.
which is
Okay.
located.
Which
And
these are located in the
next
back.
origin is the
of the arm.
occipital skull.
The
midline,
brachialis
insertion is the
are
cervical.
located.
Next is the acromiotrapezius, which is found.
Here we go. The brachialis is located.
And
Be
its
right here.
origin is the axis
The
magnus
origin is the
crassus
lateral
and
humerus. The
the
insertion is the
vertebrae.
ulna.
Its
The function
insertion
are
is
the
the
flexus
neck
forearms.
and
Next is the
scapula.
forelimb
Next
flexors,
is the spinal
which
Those aren't
trapezius.
labeled in the book, they're just on the
And
pointed
its
out on the thing.
origin is
I don't
the
know where they are on the thing.
They flex and adduct
vertebrae. Its
Okay.
insertion is the fascia.
the origin is the ventral, and
Next,
for the forelimb flexors, the ventral antebronchium. Functions of plexus the manus. The forelimb extensors are. The origin is the dorsal antebronchium, and the function is the extend the manus. Next page. Moving on to the hind limb, thigh, and shank musculature, we have the serratorius, which is located.
You just flipped it up, actually.
This is it?
I think
So
so.
the first
I don't know,
muscle
this is a bigger
in
muscle.
this section is the
It's a big one.
sternomatoid,
Here, I'll show you.
which is
This.
found
Oh, that is it?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the serratorius. The origin is the ilium. The insertion is
Actually, it's the one underneath here. It's this one, I believe. Yeah, we peeled it back. We cut it open, remember?
the origin is the
So it's
ilium.
hard
The
to see.
insertion is the tibia and the patella. The function is the adducts and rotates the femur and extends the shank. The gracilis is located.
Oh, dude. This is underneath.
Oh, that's underneath.
sternomatoid
Okay.
here,
Gracilis
and
is located right.
its origin is the first
No, it'd be right
cartilage
here.
and its insertion is the
Yeah, I think,
hyoid.
yeah, that's.
Or no, this right here.
Is
Yeah.
the
The origin is the pelvic
which is found right next to it.
symphysis. The insertion is the tibia, and the function is the adduction and retracts the leg.
Origin is
Next is the
cartilage,
biceps
thyroid,
femoris.
thyroid cartilage of larynx. The next is the
49.
thyrohyoid, which is found here. And its origin is the thyroid cartilage of larynx, and its insertion is the hyoid. The next muscle
On
is the
this
hyoid,
side, the
hyoid,
biceps
which is
one
found here.
is located.
Its origin is the mandible, and its insertion is the median aphe. The last
Maybe this one right
is
here.
the
The biceps
geniohyoid,
forum,
which is found
femoris.
here.
The origin is the ischium. The insertion is the patella and the tibia, and the function is the adducts, thigh, flexes, shank. Next is the caudo femoralis, which is located in between the two. So it would be, yeah, so it'd be right here. The origin is the caudal vertebrae, the insertion is the patella, and the functions is it adducts the thigh and extends the shank. Next is the semitendinous, which is located
its origin is the
Lower the leg, it is
occipital, and its
located.
insertion is the scapula.
This is on top.
Oh, that's on top? No, either way, it's gonna be in like the same basic spot.
Oh, sorry, I just shifted away. My bad.
No problem. This is deep musculature, so it would be located.
It's on top.
Yeah. So if you located right up here, the origin is the ischium, the function is the tibia, and the function so it flexes the shank. Next is the semi-membraneous grainoceus, which is located right next to the semi-tendius, which is also right back here. The origin is the ischium, the insertion is the femur tibia, and the function is it extends the thigh. Next is the adductor femoris, which is found.
This is underneath.
It's underneath? Okay. Which is found right here. The origin is the pubis, the insertion is the femur, and the function is that it adducts the thigh. Next is the adductor longus, which is right by the last one, right here. And the origin is the pubis, the insertion is the femur, and it adducts the thigh as well. Next is the pectineus, which is located right here. The origin is the pubis, the insertion is the femur, and the function is it adducts the thigh. Next is the tensor fascia latae, which is located right up at the top here. The origin is the ilium, the insertion is the fascia lata, and the function is the tightens the fascia lata. Next is the vastus medialis, which is located higher up in that group of muscles. The origin is the ilium, the insertion is the the origin is the femur, and the insertion is the tibia and extends the shank. Next is the rectus femoris, which is again located in that group of muscles right down here. The origin is the ilium, insertion is the tibia, extends the function is that it extends the shank. Next is the vastus lateralis.
You didn't write that down.
Don't know where that is?
No, it's right next to the vastus medialis.
Oh,
So it's underneath. It's underneath that.
it's
muscle.
underneath here. The origin is the femur, the insertion is the tibia, and the function is that it extends the shank. Next is the vastus intermedius, which is found
Number 60.
number 60.
And the next muscle
What's it
is
called?
the biceps brachii.
The vastus intermedius.
I think that's the same situation.
Same situation. It's under the leg, or it's under the muscles up here. It's the origin is the femur, the insertion is the tibia, and the function extends the shank. Next is the gastrocnemius, which